Hey, welcome! We're about to dive into a thought experiment that could literally rewrite our entire future. What if we could finally live in the last, vast, unexplored frontier right here on our own planet, the ocean? So let's just ask the question straight up. What if we could actually breathe underwater? Now, this isn't just about some neat biological trick like a superpower. We're talking about a fundamental shift that would completely redefine humanity, opening up more than two-thirds of our world in ways we can barely even start to imagine. So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we're going to tackle the science, how our bodies would have to radically change. Then we'll imagine the incredible new civilization we could build beneath the waves. After that, we'll have to face the darker, more challenging consequences. And finally, we'll ask the big one. What would all this mean for who we are as a species? All right, let's get right into it. First things first, the biology. Because, let's be real, for us to live underwater, our bodies would need a complete and total overhaul. We're talking a radical redesign from the ground up. And this, right here, this is the absolute core of the problem. Air, what we're all breathing right now, is packed with about 21% oxygen. Water? It has less than 1%. That means there's over 20 times more oxygen in the air. For our lungs, trying to breathe underwater would be like trying to drink from a bone-dry cup. It's the first and by far the biggest biological hurdle. So the bottom line is, our current hardware is just not up to the job. Our lungs are these incredibly delicate structures filled with millions of tiny little sacs that are perfect for grabbing oxygen out of the air. But under the immense, crushing pressure of water, they just collapse instantly. To solve this, we'd need a whole new piece of biological machinery. Picture this, something called branchial organs. You can think of them as super efficient man-made gills. Maybe they're located right here on the deck, using our own heart circulation to pull that scarce oxygen directly out of the water and feed it into our bloodstream. And you know, this isn't just total science fiction. Scientists have actually messed around with something called liquid breathing since way back in the 1960s. They used these special oxygen-rich fluids that allowed animals to breathe while being completely submerged. It proves the basic concept is, at the very least, in the realm of possibility. So, okay, let's imagine we solve the biology problem. What happens next? What kind of world would we actually create? We would be unlocking the single largest living space on planet Earth. 70%. Just let that number sink in for a second. 70%. That's how much of our planet is covered by water. Suddenly, all of that blue isn't a barrier anymore. It's our home. Our living space wouldn't just double or triple, it would explode. And this gives you just a little taste of what that world could look like. We could build shimmering cities on the continental shelves where the sunlight can still filter down. Our farms would be these vast, swaying forests of kelp. Transportation would become totally three-dimensional, totally free from roads and gravity. We could power everything with clean energy from deep-sea geothermal vents and get access to mineral resources we can only dream about right now. But you knew this was coming, right? This incredible expansion, it would come with a pretty serious dark side. A new frontier always brings new challenges, and altering our reality this much would have some profound and unseen consequences. And here it is, the essential conflict. On one side, you've got the promise of a boundless new world. But on the other, a danger we already know all too well from our time on land. Just imagine billions of us living in the ocean. The noise pollution from our cities could deafen whales. The heat from our homes and industries could alter delicate currents, starving entire ecosystems. And our hunger for minerals could lead us to strip mine unique hydrothermal vents, destroying life at its very source before we even understand it. And the consequences wouldn't just be external, out there. The very nature of living underwater would fundamentally remap our own internal reality. It would start with our senses. Sound travels way better in water, so it would almost certainly become our primary sense, not sight. Colors like red and yellow, they just vanish a few feet in front of your face. Your entire world would become a shifting landscape of blues and greens. We might even evolve to communicate using our own bioluminescence, like deep-sea fireflies. And that sensory shift? It would ripple through absolutely everything we create. What would music even be like when you feel it as a pulse through your entire body? How would you design a building when its entire structure is defined by buoyancy, not by gravity? Our art, our stories, our entire culture, it would all have to be completely reimagined. So this brings us to our final and maybe the most profound question of all.
If we change our biology, our civilization, and even our basic senses, are we still human, or have we become something new?
I absolutely love this idea. It suggests that this whole transformation isn't about becoming something alien. It's about returning to where we all came from in the first place. After all, every single bit of life on this planet began in the sea. And check this out. This is a fascinating biological fact that supports that idea. The saltwater solution in our blood has a chemical makeup that's remarkably similar to the ancient oceans where life first sparked into existence. It's a literal echo of our origins. We're all carrying a piece of the primordial sea inside of us right now. So imagine living in a world without hard boundaries, a world of flow and pressure and constant motion. It could fundamentally change our psychology. Maybe we'd become less territorial, more communal. Maybe we develop a whole new ecological ethic from living within the web of life, not just standing on top of it.
And that leaves us with this one last crucial question. Would this huge leap into the ocean just be another chapter in human expansion? Just more of the same? Or could it be something more profound? A chance to fundamentally expand the very definition of what it means to be alive? That's a pretty big thought to chew on. Thanks for joining me.